Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Scaling Up and our next pitfall, the so-called growth strategy. It's the second pitfall which I like to cover. And I like to look at two very popular companies, successful companies to be honest, but still in different stages with different developments. If you just look at the share price performance of Uber versus Tesla, you can see that Tesla from the very beginning had I don't want to say stable share price because that's a zero, but they were listed pretty stable, and then now they've really taken up. Why have they taken up? And compared to Uber, when we look at that, Uber doesn't really show a cool development in the same time. What's the difference between these two companies, and why is Tesla so expensive right now and Uber wasn't able to capture the value? Actually, it's about the growth strategy, and it's not only about the growth strategy, but it's about keeping the growth strategy over time and being able to show that they can execute the growth strategy. So the main failure which I'd like to cover at the moment is that from the very start, entrepreneurs must have a growth strategy in mind. And that growth strategy have to allow them to successfully scale the venture. Which means you start as a single product company, and then you put the single product in action, and you find the right problem solution fit, product market fit, and then you can scale this one. However, by doing that, at that moment, you have to especially give your investors a new vision, a broader vision, and even a broader and a broader and a broader afterwards. This is the only thing, not the only thing. This is the one thing. The other thing is you have to do the right execution. You're not lacking execution because only firms in motion, and that's the main sentence here, will be able to survive or to show a story like Tesla is able to show. And this, at the very end, goes in line with the so-called equity story and with you telling the right equity story. If you look at like the valuation of Tesla started as a mobility company, electronic vehicles, and then Elon Musk always had new ideas for cars, a broader vision, and so on. But his visions are a lot more than what the company is executing right now. But they always were a lot more than what the company was executing right now. That's the one side to the coin. The other side of the coin, and this is what adds up at the very end, is that he was also able to execute. So he brought the first model to the streets, and he brought the Model 3 to the streets, and this Model 3 is actually tackling the broad mass of people. And by, on the one hand, showing he can tackle the broad mass of people, and he can do a gigafactory and all sorts of things, he shows the execution. On the other hand, there's always plans out there which go far beyond what he's doing right now. And this is what investors love, because they still see an equity story, although this company already has shown a lot of traction right now. And the equity story tells the investors how it will rise in value even in the future. And this is crucial and goes hand in hand. Both goes hand in hand. If we look at the examples again, Uber was also an ambitious company and is still an ambitious company, to be honest. What they achieved in the past is really great. However, in 2009, they started to revolutionize the ride-sharing businesses. And they did. They did it in the US, and that was really cool. And then they put on an internationalization strategy, pretty aggressive, but this didn't work out too well since local regulations came into place and made the strategy more difficult. So they added a product development strategy, and always necessary, like food delivery, for example, but this has resulted in a company losing money. So the valuation in 2018 actually fell from 70 to 48 billion. You can see there's at least what we can see, there's no vision for like the next 5 to 10 years, or which products are coming up, with international markets are coming up, and there's struggle in the execution right now. I mean, still, this company is worth a lot of billions, so it's a success story. We have to be honest there. But there's a difference to Tesla, because what Tesla did is, Elon Musk, he talked about an equity story, but he executed that equity story and he has a new story behind. And this is really interesting. I mean, this has also been criticized since analysts say investors have a blind faith and seemingly limitless wallets. However, you can also put it the other way, like Jim Collins saying Musk and Tesla are incredibly skilled at raising capital. And this is because of coherent equity story following a steady course of free pivots, but also at the same time a great execution of a story of scaling it up. And this combination makes Tesla so successful. So if we keep that in mind, there's both. There is the scaling up question, that there's always the equity story, and this equity story has to go far beyond that what you're scaling up at the moment.